Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm ijyoyo, and today I'm going to be going over sunsets and how they work, and some better ways to photograph them and when to photograph them. So I am a photographer and graphic designer based in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm not a physics teacher or any teacher, certified teacher. All the articles that I get all my information from is going to be in the description, and I sell prints if you want to go check them out. So let's get started. So let's start off with light. So the sun emits all the colors of the visual spectrum from ultraviolet at 380 nanometers to infrared at 750 nanometers. And here we have a prism to show this. And then you have the rest of the colors at their respective wavelengths down below here. So that's pretty simple. So we're just going over reviewing some of this stuff first. So next, how does the sky work? Why is it blue? So because the blue wavelength is shorter than the red wavelength, the blue wavelength interacts more with the surroundings and spreads throughout the sky, more than red and other colors. Another thing to note here is that the speed of light is constant between the colors. The only difference is the interaction it takes between the long and short wavelengths, and that changes their times for interactions. So then how do we get sunset? After we know all this, how do we get a sunset? So the sun goes down, travels through the horizon, and it changes the distance between our eyes to the sun. As the light travels farther away, the light goes through more particles, allowing the red to interact with its surroundings more, reducing the blue wavelength. So there's a way that you can determine how a sunset will look and how to get the best sunsets that you possibly can whenever you go out. So there's a factor called multiple scattering, which involves different factors, and I'm going to be going over a few that I've had experience with. So have you ever seen a sunset after it rains or the clouds go away? There's actually a really good reason for this. So when it rains, it clears the air of dust and haze and other pollutant molecules and stuff. And less particles in the air means less interactions with its surroundings, and the light gets spread even more, and it becomes even more vibrant and colorful then. So why do some highly populated cities get often really good sunsets? So low-level dust like carbon sulfate and other mineral particles amplify the surrounding particles between the light wavelengths, making red even more prominent. But this is only true for low-level dust particles. There are some higher-level dust levels that can also leave the sunset with a gray sort of tone, and it's not very pleasing. So have you ever heard of monsoon season? So this is basically why the sunsets are so good during this time, because it rains and there's clouds, and it's just a great time for sunsets. Monsoon season occurs in the months of July, August, and September. I am not too familiar with this, but I was told, shout out to Corin on Instagram, he does banger sunsets. He told me about this, and I was really intrigued. And this seems to be a southern thing. I've never heard of it up here, up north. But yeah, definitely go check him out. The last factor for a sunset, and this is one of my favorite ones, the cloud formations and how they look and how they're going to affect the sun. So if you watched my previous video on sunsets, you would know and understand that I don't go out unless there's clouds, and clouds are a big part of the sunsets that I do. There are several types of cloud formations in the sky, starting from around 6,000 feet all the way to 2,000 feet. Clouds are created by water droplets and ice crystals in the air. Usually this means more particles in the sky for the sunsets, so that is partially why the sky is more vibrant when there's clouds. But these clouds also help reflect the sunlight back into the clouds and back onto the ground. The sun hits the ground at an angle and descends the light to the ground, and the light bounces to the bottom of these clouds, brightening and reflecting the bottom of the clouds. And this is really cool. I don't know why I'm getting so excited, but it's really cool. So whenever I go out, I usually look for cumulus, altocumulus, and cirrocumulus clouds. Those are most of the clouds that are up really high and are spread out and have enough spread so that the sun can still come through. There are some times where you get an altostratus cloud and it just blanks out the whole entire sunset, and I don't like those clouds at all. So whenever you go out for a sunset, always look for clouds. I think that is a very important note and will affect the sunset. And usually if there's no clouds in the air, I usually do not go out for sunsets. So basically over this video we went over light, how the sun works, how the sunset works, how cities and clean air can also affect sunsets. We went over clouds. Experience with watching clouds has allowed me to find like different articles and become curious on this topic to figure out when is the best time for a sunset and when it's going to look cool. Sometimes I can just look outside and determine whether or not it's going to be a good sunset based on the clouds and like if it rained recently or whatever. And that's usually how I go about finding my sunsets and planning out when to actually shoot. If I got something incorrect, please leave a constructive comment down below or correction. But other than that, thanks for watching. Go check out my website or my Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video.